Hello, and welcome to The Gun Show, episode 11. 11. And I am coming at you solo, Crystal Reese. We have an exciting week, as always, in the gun world. So we have a fun follow-up from last week. The Honeybadger, the ATF. Remember how we talked about how they suddenly decided that the Honeybadger was not an arm brace, but a shoulder brace, and now illegal? Well, the ATF has decided to suspend their decision for 60 days and allow the Department of Justice to review that. So, glad that they are being called into check and can't just make decisions on a whim. I'm going to share the screen a little bit and pull up some other news from this week. So we have an anti-gun campaign by President Trump explaining candidate Joe Biden's gun legislature or his plans. And I'm going to share this with you, not because I am pro-Trump in particular, but I do think if you care about your gun rights, it is important to understand who is going to preserve them. So, okay, let's share. Pull it up.
Joe Biden openly admitted his plan to violate our Second Amendment rights.
To gun owners out there who say, well, a Biden administration means they're going to come for my guns.
Bingo, you're right.
While Antifa terrorizes our cities and radical leftists call to defund the police, Biden and Harris would enact unconstitutional gun control measures, making it harder than ever to defend yourself. Your family and rights won't be safe in Joe Biden's America.
Bingo.
I'm Donald J. Trump, and I approve this message.
That was a clever ad. Bingo. But he has openly said he's coming for our guns. And he has, if you're not sure about that or you think that's just propaganda, look into it. He has a gun plan, and we've actually covered it in past episodes of what he plans on doing, and it's not logical. And it is not cool if you're a gun owner. Okay, now we're going to go through some buyback information. There's 2 states doing buybacks right now, Rhode Island and Michigan. Rhode Island, they said they kind of had a partial win of the buybacks because initially they were going to destroy the guns that they, even if it was stolen and they found the owner, that the rightful owner of the gun, they were going to destroy it anyway and not return it to the owner. Well, Rhode Island has since changed their plans, and they will now return the stolen guns to the owners instead of destroying them. They're still doing the buyback, and can't stop that one. And in Michigan, Grand Rapids, they are doing 2 gun buybacks, one on October 24th and one on November 7th. Why this is important: if you are in Michigan, you can purchase guns privately from other people. There is a list of things you need to do to make sure that that's legal. But what they have done in past buybacks is if you want a gun, you just stand on the corner with a sign saying, "I will buy your gun in cash," and have the paperwork, and you can get these guns on sale because they were only going to pay them $50 to $200 in gift cards for the buybacks. So, I mean, you can get a gun. I mean, if someone's going to turn in a gun for $50, heck yeah, I'll buy 70. I'll up them. I'll up their price. So that's the hope, is that a lot of people will just stand on the edge there and get guns for cheap. So yeah, Grand Rapids, Michigan, if you're over there or even close somewhere in Michigan, I would hit that up. Also, we have some Firearms Policy Coalition is doing a lot for our rights right now. There's 2 major cases that I've just heard of recently that they're fighting for. One, They're fighting for young adults ages 18 through 21 to be able to carry a loaded gun. So in Utah, where I used to live, they would allow 18-year-olds to have their concealed carry permit because their mindset was if you can live on your own, then you should be able to protect yourself by yourself. You shouldn't have to depend on someone else. And I believe that's been going well because they haven't repealed it since they put it into place. Firearms Policy Coalition is fighting for that. I think that is splendid. I hope that passes. Honestly, we allow 18-year-olds to join the military and fight for us. If they are not responsible enough to own a gun or use guns, then why would we let them join the military? Then we need to increase the age of the military, but we don't because they are responsible enough in that regard. They're responsible enough to vote. I don't know, just brainstorming. Okay, the last thing we're going to hit up. It's talking about Firearms Policy Coalition, San Diego Gun Owners Association or Gun Club. Oh, I should have looked that up. But anywho, multiple organizations, the NRA, multiple organizations are fighting for this, and I really hope it passes. It's the Miller versus Becerra, and it is covering this. You can see on the screen the Assault Weapons Control Act, which bans in California several semi-automatic rifles, pistols, and shotguns. So it will say a semi-automatic rifle that has a pistol grip or a thumbhole stock or a grenade launcher, suppressor, anything that has a detachable magazine with more than 10 rounds, a secondhand grip, shroud, just a shotgun with a revolving cylinder. These things are under the Assault Weapons Act. And this whole act is coming into question. They are currently debating over this. Today, as I'm recording this, the 19th of October, they went and had a case and they were discussing this act. And the really hopeful thing for Californians is the judge on the case. This judge is a constitutionalist. He looks at the law. I wouldn't say he's pro one side or the other. He just looks at what's written and is very, very clear to what's written, not opinion or desires. So he has multiple times ruled in favor of the Second Amendment. So it's looking hopeful. If you follow, the San Diego Gun Owners, that's how I found it on Instagram. You can find it. Yes, San Diego Gun Owners. You can follow the Informed Armed. Dang, I should have wrote these guys, their names down. Firearms Policy Coalition, multiple locations where you can get regular updates of what's happening. Miller versus Becerra. What else with this case? I just am feeling really excited after doing some research. Some of the arguments are that the wording is unconstitutional and that it's not accurate. So some of the wording was that the firearms were dangerous and unusual, where if you look in America, those firearms are not unusual and they are not the most dangerous firearms that they are banning. And if you know anything about firearms and you've looked into the research with crime with guns, you learn that actually the guns that cause the most crime are pistols, not semi-automatic rifles. So if if the logical debate is that, oh, we got to get these specific guns because they're the most dangerous. Well, they're not. The most dangerous is a pistol. So that's already debunked in itself. But yeah, that is the news of this week. Looking good. Armed citizen story. We got a Chicago woman with a concealed carry permit. She was in front of her house, 7 p.m., 6:50, and a guy tried to steal her stuff. And she said, well, I'll give you my gun, and whipped it out. And they had shots exchanged. Neither of them hit each other. So I thought that was interesting. Maybe they're running and shooting behind them or something. And yeah, she was able to get away from that situation. And I thought that was interesting because Chicago, I know Chicago has super crazy gun laws, but I thought you couldn't own a gun, but apparently you can. Or not own a gun, I thought you can have a concealed carry permit. I should look more into it. On my airplane this weekend, I talked to a guy who lived in Illinois, and he has his concealed carry. So maybe it's that location just crazy and the rest is fine. And of course, where there's a will, there's a way. So that is some of the news for this week. I hope you all are doing swell. I'm doing pretty good. After that news, I feel pretty good, pretty happy with what's happening with the guns and some wins, and just feeling hopeful for the future with our firearms. So have a great night, and I will see you next week.